Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to check out XCN's price chart and see what is happening in the short term. But before we get into all that, we are going to do a quick update on something interesting from Onyx that could be potentially bullish for XCN, but at the same time I do think that you should still approach it carefully. So in case that you don't know, Onyx is trying to push a promo to get people bridging cbXRP, which, in case that you don't know, that's basically Coinbase wrapped XRP on Base over to the Onyx ledger to take part in their 10% passive Onyx point allocation. Now, in plain terms, they are essentially saying that you need to bridge your cbXRP to Onyx, hold it there, and you will earn rewards in their passive points program. And their main goal, I think, is to try to kickstart activity on their ledger, and early users will probably get extra allocation for participating. Now, why this can be a bit bullish for XCN? I got two very important reasons for it. And the main reason, I think it has to come down to more leisure activity, because if more people are going to bridge assets and keep them on Onyx, well, okay, that will probably drive transaction volume, API calls, and potentially demand for whatever infrastructure the chain actually uses. That activity creates use cases where XCN can play a role. For example, whether it's going to be fees, maybe a staking, maybe governance, or maybe even reward redemption, depending on how Onyx's token mechanics are set up. Reason number two, I think, comes down to network effects and liquidity. You see, when a ledger gains assets and users, it is going to become more attractive for developers and partners, and having cbXRP, which is a widely known wrapped asset backed by Coinbase, definitely adds more credibility and possible liquidity. That can encourage other assets and features to arrive here, which normally helps a native tokens ecosystem. Now, so far, we talked about the bullish side. How about some important things that we need to pay attention to and potentially some risks? Well, I got two of them for you, and the main one I think comes down to wrapped token and their custody risk. You see, cbXRP is a wrapped token issued by Coinbase. That means it fully depends on Coinbase's custody and redemption processes. If something goes wrong on the issuer side, your bridge token could be affected big time, and always you must check the issuer's proof of reserves and redemption terms. Risk number two is coming down, in my view, to bridge smart contracts. You see, if you have been around in the crypto market for quite a bit, you probably already know what I'm about to say. Bridges are actually one of the most attacked pieces of DeFi infrastructure. The smart contracts that lock and mint tokens can have potentially bugs and be exploited, and you need to verify audits, limits, and safety measures before beginning anything substantial. So, question, what should we do? Well, I'm not here to tell you what to do. You should definitely do your own research, come up with your own conclusion. That's my take. But here is what I would like to at least advise a little bit. If you want to participate in this process, number one, you have to, I think, start small, bridge maybe a tiny amount to test the flow and the withdrawal process. Number two, you have to read the Onyx Passive Points rules and maybe pay more attention to their season length, maybe vesting, conversion, and claim conditions. Number three, you have to verify audits and bridge contract addresses, okay? Please be careful and do not click on suspicious link, and pay full attention to the URL. Make sure that you are definitely using the official bridge URL. That's actually a very important thing to have an eye on. And finally, last but not least, definitely keep an exit plan and know how to move back to base or redeem for XRP or maybe fiat. So bottom line, I think this can be a potentially bullish micro event for XCN because it is probably going to drive activity, liquidity, and network effects. But at the same time, it's just one of those classic high risk, high reward setups. So if you want to participate in this, please, I'm gonna say what I said at the beginning of the video. Do your due diligence, come up with your own conclusion, and my suggestion is, if you want to be involved, maybe start with like a very small amount of your cbXRP and see how it goes. And again, at any step of the way, please be careful. So overall, I would say this is optimistic news, and I would really like to see more and more activities like this on Onyx and generally be more active in this whole crypto space. Now, let's go on the live chart and see what is going on. And if you remember, the last time that we talked about XCN, I think we were right around these areas, and the idea was that so far it seems like that we are having an A, B, C structure down, generally a 3-wave movement and not a 5-wave down. And that, my friends, made me say, you know what, maybe we are going to have an A, B, C in form of either a running flat or maybe an expanded flat, depending on whether we are going to take this high about 1.2 cents or not. We said if we take it, it's going to be an expanded flat. If we are not going to take it, it can be a running flat. So what happened? As you can see, so far at least we are not having a move on the upside in XCN, and I do actually think that we can consider other possibilities in here if we are not going to have a move up at all. For instance, you can in this area consider maybe having something like an A correction for wave B and then another move down into our C leg to about maybe these areas, and then maybe having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up in order to still, guess what, complete the sub waves for an A, B, C expanded flat. So if you see something like this happening in the next, I don't know, let's say 24 to about 48 hours, okay, you need to have your eyes on this structure, suggesting maybe the coming move up in XCN is going to be a bit of a trap, and after it's over, in case we identify a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a very strong move down without a lot of overlapping of the base, that could pretty much confirm the fact that in here we are having overall a bit of a bearish setup into this larger degree wave 4, which means what's next? I think you know it, another move down into our wave 5, and for that specific move, you know what the target is if you are a regular viewer of the channel. You see, in Onyx Coin, I do think there's like a very strong support all the way down here between, let's say, 0.85 to about 0.97, let's say generally 0.98 of a cent area. Now, why is this so important? Because number one, right around the current area, we really do not have a whole lot of strong supports in order to stop the price from going down. So makes sense to say this is going to continue and we are going to reach to about this level. And even whether we are going to get from this point like a very strong bounce, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even that is not really guaranteed. For now, I'm just focusing on this move down continuing a bit more and reaching to about here. And then we are going to still be a bit more patient and careful and watch the current price action very carefully and see, are we going to see some signs of hope in here finally showing up. Reason number two for why this region is very much significant. You see, when we got this move up in XCN, it happened really fast, and as a result of it, all the way down here, I think this actually belongs to daily time frame. We created a very clear gap, which is at the same time around this support. And well, you probably know my stance on gaps. I believe gaps 95+% of the time are going to get filled. So, you know, since we are going down in XCN, makes sense to say we are going to most likely fill this gap, and then hopefully we are going to have a very strong bounce. And it's very important to note that gaps are not necessarily a bad thing. For example, you actually have a very clear gap that was created as a result of this initial move on the downside being way too fast, and it's actually right around, I believe, these areas about, let's say, 2.7 to about 3.2 cents. And well, guess what? I do believe that one way or the other in Onyx Coin, we are going to, at one point, hopefully by the end of this cycle, get a move up and fill this gap. But I think we are probably going to go quite a bit higher than that. For example, if we go up and take the highs in here, it's not really going to be surprising at all. We can even continue our uptrend and reach to about the 10 cents area. And even that's not really going to be like an unbelievable target. I think 10 cents probably by the end of this cycle is very much achievable. But for now, let's not really get ahead of ourselves. Let's just focus on the current price action and see what is going on. And I actually forgot to tell you this. Sure, we can have an ABC expanded flat. However, right now, I'm not really sure if that should be my primary case because I do have honestly a better count. You see, I believe in Onyx Coin, this is 1, this is 2, this is wave 3, and we are having a correction for 4, which one very important pattern that does actually have a habit of happening into a wave 4 is what? I think you know it if you are a regular viewer. It's an A, B, C, D, E, a triangular structure, and in terms of the subwaves, we basically have to have ABCs in every single wave, ABC down into B, ABC into C, ABC into D, and this is our final ABC on the upside into our E leg. Now, let's go on the live chart and tell you why I do like the triangle structure as my primary case. You see, we already said that this is a 3-wave move on the upside, let's say an ABC, followed by that, I do think that, excuse me, let's just take this one, this is an ABC structure down, and to about the highest side in here, this can absolutely be an A correction for wave B, another move up into our C leg. This can be, let's just take this one, there we go, maybe A, B, C down, and this might be another ABC on the upside. And well, on a higher degree, you are essentially having the subwaves for a beautiful looking triangular structure, A, B, C, D, E. And according to this count, let's just do this. Okay, this can be probably from this high, wave 1, correction for wave 2, decent move down into wave 3, correction for 4, another move down into wave 5, which on a higher degree might be into this wave 3 and 4 and 5, and even that one on a higher degree can be into, yep, you guessed it right, a wave 3, correction for 4, another move down into wave 5. So for the next couple of days, I'm not going to be mad at all in case this move down in XCN is going to continue, let's say potentially for another 7 to 10% in order to, let's say, get it over with and finally reach to about this very important area, because I'll be honest with you, I'm really tired of talking about this region and I'm sure you are also tired too. So, you know, let's just get it over with and get to here, and then right around this region, we are going to, I promise you, start making bullish videos the moment that we see some optimistic signs. And by that, well, you probably know it. I'm talking about having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the initial bounce, followed by a very slow and choppy pullback, which between our pullbacks up in this phase, you should be able to constantly identify overlapping of the waves. If I see something like this, that means most likely in Onyx Coin we have hit our final low and it is time to start another major phase of the bull run. But before we get into all that good stuff, well, we should probably continue our move down a bit more. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in XCN's chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.